Well, we all live busy lives, and often some things we do don't intend to have, or some things that we do, we don't intend for them to happen. They just happen, kind of like this.
It seems unthinkable, but it happens thousands of times each year across the U.S. The car door closes, and you've locked more than your keys in your car. Papa Lock offers a program we call EDU for emergency door unlocking. If you lock your child in the car, call 911. Then Papa Lock will dispatch a technician immediately to unlock your door free of charge.
That is great, and that's scary stuff. Being a parent, that's one of the worst nightmares, especially the summertime here in New Mexico. It can get really hot really quick.
It is. It's tough. You know, we're parents ourselves. We've unfortunately done that ourselves too, but it's something you certainly try to avoid.
Yeah, well, Greg Steen, co-owner and general manager at Papa Lock. So tell us a little bit about this program and what Papa Lock is.
Sure. Well, first of all, Papa Lock is a full-service locksmith company. We're a security professional company stationed here in Albuquerque. We're 100% locally owned and operated. We serve the greater Albuquerque area. But we're actually expanding into Santa Fe and Los Alamos a little bit later in the year. While we're locally owned, we're part of one of the largest teams of locksmiths in the country, which is great because it really helps our technicians and our locksmiths get full service training, really making sure that they know what they're doing. They're fully trained and certified before they go out there helping to secure your business, home, or your auto.
That's great, yeah, and as you said, securing the business, home, and auto. Right. So what do you recommend our viewers do to protect themselves?
Well, there's a few things. Unfortunately, we know Albuquerque has a high crime rate.
Unfortunately, yeah.
These next couple of days are actually, the FBI tells us New Year's Eve and New Year's Day happen to be the two highest days for having a car stolen of the whole year.
Really?
As a combined 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. But with that, you know, there's some simple things that we can kind of do to help protect ourselves. In your car, doing things like locking your car.
Sure.
It's tough in the winter months, but don't leave your car out running, especially unattended. You know, don't leave an extra set of keys in the car. You saw how easy it was on the video there for the technician to get in. It's even easier for a criminal when he doesn't really care if he breaks the window or not, and then he grabs that spare set of keys and he's off. Around your house, same kind of story. Make sure you lock your doors and your windows. Make sure you have a good working deadbolt, and as opposed to some of the smaller locks that may be really easy to get into. Do things like if you're gone on vacation, make sure you leave your lights on, some of the things that people tell you. And then at some point you may want to think about getting a home security system or something along that line.
Now, when would someone need to call a locksmith? What are some of the scenarios?
Sure. Well, the most common ones are things that you saw in the emergency situations like on the video. If you lock yourself out of your home, you lock yourself out of your car, it is almost always faster and cheaper to call a locksmith rather than break a window, which is what other folks often try to do.
That is not cheap, I guarantee that, yeah.
You know, some of the more positive times, when you move into a new home or move into a new apartment, you always want to make sure that you rekey that place before you do. You don't know all the people that might have lived there before and their friends and neighbors who may still have keys to your place. If you happen to lose your keys, or you want to get down to 1 or 2 keys for your business or for your home, as opposed to needing the whole keychain that you might be carrying around. The other time that's, again, really good is some of the technology have advanced, so you may want to consider upgrading security systems to something that's a little bit newer, a little bit more modern.
Right. Now, just quickly, we've all heard, horror stories of shady locksmiths, and, really you are putting your trust in someone's hands that can enter whenever they want. So what can we do as consumers to protect ourselves?
That's a great question, and it's one of the biggest problems in our industry because there are these guys we affectionately call scammers. And New Mexico is particularly difficult for this because we don't have any licensing requirements here, so really all it takes is, all you got to do is place an ad on the internet and you're now a locksmith.
Wow.
It was a little scary. So you need to do your due diligence to buy as a consumer. The best advice on buying just about anything is always check with friends and neighbors who have had success with somebody that they found that they trust. More objectively, there's an association called the Associated Locksmiths of America, or ALOA Security Professionals. They sponsor a website called findalocksmith.com. They do a great job of screening out anybody that isn't a reputable locksmith, so always check that out. The other thing, look around the community. See if the people are an active part of the community. Are they in things like the Chamber of Commerce and other community organizations? When you call and talk to them, do they have a real website? Do they have a real address? Do they answer the phone with a real company name as opposed to something really generic? And then in other kinds of things you want to look at, make sure that the people are trained, make sure they're doing background checks. And these are all questions that you should be able to ask. And then when it comes to money, the biggest scam is kind of changing the price after you get out there on the job. So any reputable locksmith will be able to give you a very firm estimate before they start the job, before you've spent any money on it. And if you for some reason see that that price is changing when the people get out there, if they can't give you a really good explanation as to why that's changing and it doesn't make sense to you, just walk away. Find somebody that will, because there'll be plenty of folks out there that would be happy to do that at the price they actually quoted.
Right.
Lastly, Locksmith is one of those kind of things that you typically don't need until you need it. So spend a couple minutes ahead of time. You're most susceptible to that scamming when you need it in an emergency.
Yeah.
So spend a few minutes, find a reputable locksmith, just take their phone number and program it into your telephone, and then when you actually do need it, it'll be there for you.
Yeah, and in day and age with smartphones, of course,
Right. You can
they're
hold
really
thousands
easy.
and thousands of contacts.
Absolutely.
So, one
well,
more
so
isn't
speaking
gonna-
of having a smartphone and getting in touch, how can we get a hold of you guys?
All right, well, you can get a hold of us. You can certainly check out our website at papalockabq.com. You can also call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We will always answer the phone at 505-242-4550.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
and of course,
thank you.
folks, we will have more information on our website. Just visit the Casa Style blog at casa.com.